Your mic. All right, welcome to today's live streaming. Welcome to another episode of our discussion on Jaundice. All right, so I welcome you all to today live streaming. Once you come to the live streaming, tell us where you are watching us from, um, and also your name if possible. So this is Healthy Living Global once again, and today's heart channel or Healthy Family is focused on health promotion, creating of awareness. So we're committed and also determined to make sure that you live a healthier life and also to take this healthy living to a global scale. All right, for your information, we stream every day by 10 a.m. and on Sunday is always decided between 12 to 3 p.m. in between. So thank you for being a member of this family. Keep sharing our links and also the link keep sharing the link of this live streaming and also the link of the YouTube channel. All right, so um thank you for being available today. So we are going to start our discussion today on um another episode of Jaundice and its complications. Of course, we started the discussion yesterday, Jaundice and its complications, which we've mentioned a lot of things. We mentioned that this jaundice is a condition, not really a sickness or disease per se, but is a condition that's characterized by what yellowing of eye and skin, right, due to high level of bilirubin in the blood, which we see that there are many things that could cause this jaundice, right? It could be problem with the liver, all right? It could be problem with the gallbladder or even the pancreas, all right? Also the gallbladder or bile duct, and also it could be the problem with let's say liver, all right. That is when it comes to that of babies, right. We say there's a physiologic issues, all right, in which the liver is not properly developed. So that particular um, condition can lead to jaundice because the liver cannot process the bilirubin as expected. And also it could be a problem with the blood, all right, red blood cell, because what causes this bilirubin buildup is the red blood cell, the old red blood cell that is broken down. So at some point, due to some certain illness, there can be over breaking down of this red blood cell. All right, so when you notice this particular condition, you see that what those conditions can actually affect um, your whole system and lead to what build up of this bilirubin. And if the liver is not capable or not healthy enough to process the bilirubin, of course it can lead to the build up causing the jaundice and its complications. So as at yesterday we discussed about liver problems that could cause jaundice, all right, which we mentioned a lot of things like hepatitis A, B, C, and E, all right, as things that could cause the jaundice. You mentioned even liver cirrhosis, fatty liver, scarring of the liver, even alcoholic liver disease, all right, as a result of a high level of alcohol. All right, you take alcohol, and at some point, the liver that have been processing all those alcohols and other things you are taking, detoxifying it, will become weak, and in the end it cannot be able to process the bilirubin level. And when it happens in that way, we have problem with this bilirubin, and it will result towards jaundice. So, and we also mentioned yesterday about bile duct problems or problem with gallbladder. When there is a blockage, which is what the channel by which this bilirubin is excreted, right? When it passes through that channel, it goes into the feces and be passed out of the body. But when there is when this channel is blocked, right, the gallbladder or the bile duct is blocked. So there is no how the excretion can take place, and before you know it, it will lead to a build up of this bilirubin in the blood, which is a problem. And this problem is capable of destroying your organs. We are going to discuss that. So that's the number two we mentioned. So today we are continuing on other things. There's even the one we call a cholangitis, all right, which is uh, caused by bacterial infection, all right, which is still a result of that blockage in the um, excretory pathway of that bilirubin, all right, which is the bile duct and that of gallbladder. So now today we are going to continue our discussion on this bilirubin and its complications. We are going to start today with this number three, because yesterday we mentioned number one and number two, which is what we mentioned liver related issues as causes of what this jaundice. We also mentioned problem with bile duct or gallbladder as causes of jaundice or the cause of jaundice. Today we are going to mention red blood cell um, problems, or a problem with what red blood cell as the causes of jaundice. Now, how do red blood cell lead to jaundice? Of course, um, when the blood cell is manufactured in the body, in the bone marrow, all right, it will be released from there into the system that will be in circulation. It will be doing a lot of works, right? This red blood cell helping to carry oxygen. We know what it does: carry oxygen to the vital parts of the body, all these organs, brain, heart, and others. So it will be working properly. Even the kidney, the liver will be working properly as a result of the work of this red blood cell. All right, at some point the red blood cell will get old. All right, of course, each red blood cell dies between let's say maximum, right, maximum of 120 days that will stay before it will die away. All right, so and when it dies it will break down. So normally there's always red blood cell breakdown. All right, so if it break down, it will form what we call bilirubin. And if you form the bilirubin, the liver, if you have a healthy liver, it will process it, all right, detoxify it and push it into the gallbladder or bile duct, push it through that way, it will be excreted, all right, during defecation. So that is how it works. But now, if you're having problem with the red blood cell, for instance, you're having what we call a hemolytic anemia, right? An instance whereby the red blood cell is broken down than necessary, as in more faster than necessary. For instance, in the case of sickle cell anemia or a plasmodium falciparum infestation, like this a malaria parasite, all right, when there's a malaria parasite that have invaded the blood, it can lead to what destruction of red blood cell more than normal. All right, when it's happening that way, so there will be what breaking down of red blood cell and building up of the bilirubin more than the the liver can handle. All right, liver always works. The different thing that liver can do for you is not only the bilirubin that is helping you to process, right? It processes other things that you are eating that will be toxic to your system. So it processes all of them. So now you having this over breaking down of this red blood cell, the liver may not be able to handle it. So which is, we say that one of the problem that could cause this bilirubin build up, which will result to jaundice if there is problem with the red blood cell, or there is over breaking down of red blood cell, which we call hemolytic anemia. All right, so it can lead to this jaundice. Another thing we mentioned, another thing we're going to mention here under that blood problem is thalassemia. All right, this thalassemia, we say that what an inherited disorder. All right, this thalassemia is an inherited disorder in which the red blood cell dies more more quick. All right, it is not going to even reach the day or the days is expected to stay in the body. All right, we say what is an inherited disorder. So instead of it to be able to reach like 120 days before dying, or let's say 100 days before dying, the red blood cell keep dying prematurely. All right, so that's what happened in this thalassemia, and before you know it, as it is dying, as it breaking down, that is how it's still building what this red blood cell, and that's how it's still building up this bilirubin. And we say that even autoimmune, all right, there is an autoimmune disease that could still cause what, when the immune system is attacking the red blood cell, it can still lead to what, over breaking down of red blood cell. And when it happens in that way, bilirubin will build up and it will result to jaundice. Right now, we have what we call glucose 6-phosphate dehydrogenase. All right, glucose 6-phosphate dehydrogenase. This particular one is still what, an inherited enzymes that lead to what, bursting of this red blood cell. All right, all these ones is what, inherited disorder. All right, it's still part of what, inherited disorder. Of course, what we're talking about is blood problems. All right, issues with the blood that is capable of causing this jaundice. All right, we've mentioned that of hemolytic anemia, have mentioned that of thalassemia. All right, this other one was glucose 6-phosphate dehydrogenase as cause of jaundice. So we say that in this one is an inherited disorder in which the red blood that lead to what, damage or bursting of the red blood cell. All right, you see the red blood cell will just be breaking down anyhow, of which is a result of what, inherited gene. So there's a gene, just like this one of which people inherit sickle cell anemia, right? Having SS, that's how those ones is also inherited. So people that are having that particular issue, the glucose 6-phosphate dehydrogenase, as a gene inherited, those people will be always be having issues with the red blood cell. That will be always what, red blood cell breakdown, right, or bursting of the red blood cell. When that happens, it can actually lead to this jaundice. So now, um, another thing again that we're going to mention is about what, newborn specific. All right, as one of the causes of jaundice, newborn specific. When we say that this one is a newborn specific, we are talking about that this particular jaundice happens strictly to newborn babies. All right, happen to newborn baby, like someone that just gave birth to, and between that time to, let's say, 1 week. All right, this one will just form. So, and what happens there, we call it also infantile jaundice or jaundice in newborn. All right, anyhow we put it. But what happens here is that what, there is the liver of the newborn is not matured enough. All right, as it's not matured enough, it cannot be able to process this liver or this bilirubin within the period. So, and if it cannot process the bilirubin within the period, there's no how that this bilirubin will not build up. So always and every time, there's always formation on this bilirubin, just like we have explained. All right, but if the liver is not matured, all right, in newborn, it cannot actually process it, of which we say that best way to remedy that particular condition, which is jaundice in newborn, All right, best way to handle it is what is a medical intervention called phototherapy. All right, phototherapy can be used. All right, how do you go about the phototherapy? The natural one that you can do by bringing the baby out to the sunlight, especially that early morning sunlight, or allowing the rays of sunlight to go through the window, all right, to come and be a kind of dissolving the bilirubin buildup in the body of the baby, right? So especially that one is recommended for mild jaundice. But if the jaundice is severe, all right, if it's severe or very critical, what will happen is that what you take the baby to the healthcare center for what we call phototherapy. Why? Because what this jaundice is capable of leading to organ dysfunction. It can make many organs not to work, like that of the brain, that of kidney, liver. It can lead to what organ failure. Right? When organ fails, you see that what the person can die away. That of newborn, right? That of newborn, what happens there is that what it leads to what damage to the brain, and once it happens, the child can die at any time. So that what happens in that of infant. Now another thing is about breast milk. There is substances in the breast milk that is capable of causing the jaundice if is not properly processed. All right, if it's not properly processed by the body. So there's some certain breast milk that could cause that particular jaundice for newborn. But just like I mentioned, the best way to remedy this condition, if your baby is experiencing jaundice, infantile jaundice or jaundice in newborn, what you just do is what take the child to health center for phototherapy, or you can expose the child to sunlight or sun rays, all right, through the window to dissolve that particular jaundice, jaundice, which is what build up of the bilirubin that have resulted to jaundice. Now, another thing again that could cause the jaundice in infant, because this number 4, we say what there's jaundice what in newborn. Another thing that could cause this thing is what ABO, blood group ABO and rhesus factor incompatibility. All right, yes. If there is incompatibility in the rhesus factor, for instance, the mother's rhesus factor is negative, that of the baby is positive. All right, all this, no, the mother is positive and that of the baby is negative, so it's going to form what we call agglutination. Let's say in the first pregnancy, it's not going to affect the baby that much, but in subsequent pregnancy, which is the reason we say that what you need to be cautioned, you need to take the necessary precaution, especially that what we call um anti-D vaccine. All right, anti-D vaccine. All these things help what in making sure that what this resource incompatibility will be rectified, especially if there's resource incompatibility in that or the first pregnancy. So that's what happens. So you take care of that one. What is the issue? Call him, call her. Guys, sorry, let me attend to someone. I'm gonna get back to you right here. What do you want? Fine, fine. Welcome, welcome. No, All right. Guys, welcome back to the live streaming. Welcome back to the live streaming. Um, Now let's just conclude our live streaming today. Um, on this jaundice and its complications. All right. So if you have further question, you can actually put it on the comment section. I'm going to attend to it. So um, now in summary, and in summary, this particular joint is just like I stated from the beginning. I said that what it could be caused by liver problem with the red blood cell, problem with the bile duct, problem with the gallbladder, all right, all those things can be the issue, or physiologic issue in newborn in which there is what premature liver, all right, so which cannot process bilirubin, or which we say that what causes jaundice is what build up of bilirubin in the blood. And when it happens in that way, someone can have what we call organ failure, all right. How this jaundice can kill is that what it can lead to organ failure, and once it lead to organ failure, someone can die at any time. So if you have any question, put it on the comment section. I'm going to attend to it. Anytime I see the notification, I will attend to it and make sure that what I answer you to your satisfaction. So thank you for being part of us. Don't forget that we stream every day by 10 a.m. and on Sunday is between 12 to 3 p.m. So do well to be part of the live streaming, and I believe this will go a long way in helping us to take this healthy life to a global scale. Thank you, and see you guys tomorrow by 10 a.m.